regular meeting of Thursday, May 16th, and we are being called to order approximately 6:02. And just a brief roll call here.
Here.
Myself,
Dan.
Dan,
Here.
Joanne, thank you very much. Okay. We're going to take just 5 minutes here to look through this consent agenda. And that includes the meeting minutes from May 16th. So a couple of weeks ago or months ago. Did you see some of those hurdles? Whoa, they were doing.
That's it. Okay.
Okay, we're at 6:05. Is there any comment or corrections to our minutes of May 16th?
I have none. My comment would be to accept them.
Yes, I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Wanting to see an affirmation from Joanne. Thank you. Yes, it was.
Yeah. Take one, pass it on.
I'm good with it. Does somebody have to approve it or?
And we need a motion.
Yep, motion,
I'll
please.
motion to approve the minutes from May 16th.
I second.
Thank you. All right, moving on
All
our
in favor? Aye. Aye, aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. This cartoon's gonna replace person's not on the agenda.
Okay, person's not on the agenda, but we
So-
do have a cartoon on the agenda.
Yeah, so here, pass it down to Kay. She'll
Oh,
get a kick out of
okay,
it
there you
too.
go. And in front of us, we are reading the cartoon Pearls Before Swine. And should I read it out loud or how do we? get it
Sure,
into the record?
yeah, go
Okay, so
ahead.
we have does it matter? Okay, there we go. Thank you. But we have a little entertainment here.
Very little.
Yeah. Okay, thank you much. No
So-
other citizens here, so we'll move on to our next action item. We've got a tree protection letter review. We don't have a letter, but Dan's going to explain why we don't have a letter.
We don't have a letter because it's been resolved. I had just given Kevin Shoresman a copy of this letter, and he got together with the building department, and the resolution is that the new form checkbox on the application for permitting will require the applicant to submit plans with tree protection indicated. And this is like huge. We've been asking for this for years, and it's the perfect solution. So it's taken care of.
Can they red tag somebody if they don't do it? And they said.
That's up to them. So, but it's taken care of. If they don't see it on the plans, what Kevin told me is they will turn the plans back and say, show us.
So
And
thank you.
then they'll be required to do it also.
So thank you for that persistence in this one, Dan. Maybe we applaud you on that.
Well, but there's been many people on the tree board that have been requesting this over the years. So it's work. And it's a great solution.
And for our minutes and for our record and for anyone watching the recording, tree protection, what this essentially means is that when there is development in the town of Carbondale, within the purview of the town of Carbondale, the trees in the public right of way are going to have a protective fencing material around them. The fencing material will, in terms of its capacity to protect the tree, will be reviewed. It will be deemed suitable. I'm pretty much guessing, right?
Yep.
If it's not suitable, of course, there'll be corrections. And the period of time that the tree protection will be around the tree will also be determined by our arborist. It will be in conjunction, a collaborative effort. It won't be just whenever the developer
Right.
decides that it's time to take it down. So the citizens of Carbondale can expect that this protection and this inclusion of this into the building and development plans will maintain existing trees, and also will move us forward in also our awareness about the protection of trees in our environment.
Additionally to that, I just want to add, just talking with Kevin, he also said that physically, usually the town arborist will go to that said site and just review it and make sure that the tree protection is up to standard as well.
Thank you.
Terrific.
Yeah, this is a big step for our town. And really this is a step, an effort that sometimes is only seen in fairly large urban settings that have, multiple resources. And so for us to bring it into our small town, I think is a very progressive perspective. My 2 cents on that.
Good.
Okay. Wonderful. Let's move us on. We are now, I guess, on 4.2, our Aquatics Center tree removal review.
So I've gone over there and watched them cut down all the trees that they've cut down. So they cut down 2 Siberian elms inside the property, inside the fencing, or actually 3. They did cut down the one on 7th Street, close to Main Street, the large tree. I believe that there is some finding that there may have been some utility conflicts under that tree that would have, but that tree's gone. The other 2 trees, the ones on Main Street next to the Austrian pine, and the other one was by the bridge, by the ditch. They also did some trimming of some dead branches of a tree that was on the west side of the ditch. And then, like Ally said, Carl got no response from the contractor about doing tree protection around the oak tree on the west side of the property. So Carl went over and put up the tree protection. The other tree, Ally, you know about the Austrian pine, but you could probably tell us better what's gonna be, what Carl's gonna, and you are gonna be doing with that.
I'm not totally certain yet. I know, I think they're trying to protect it, but it's an issue. There's a bunch of, lines of like water or electric also down there. So just other things you're trying to consider and seeing if protection will be enough for the tree to survive. I'm not totally certain on what will happen to the Austrian pine.
But I think,
They were going to abandon one of those lines.
no,
Not under that one.
well, there's, they have, some line is being abandoned, but they're gonna be putting something else in. But the other thing is Carl had indicated that possibly they're gonna do some jetting around the roots to see if they can see if there's a conflict. So he's gonna do an evaluation on that. So that's where we stand with that. So, and so it's pretty good, I think.
I just wanted a little update from you, but what is today, Thursday? When Tuesday's trustee meeting. So actually it was reported to us that and I know it probably won't result in any tears from folks here, but the Siberian elm on the corner, the big one, was not ultimately on the schedule to be removed and was removed as town manager said accidentally, and it shouldn't have been, according to. And so at this point, we're kind of there's some negotiate all as well as that ends well. And I think there'll be there's a little bit of room there for being compensated for that error. And hopefully we can apply that to either more trees, better protection, any sorts of things. So that was, yeah, it wasn't scheduled to be cut down.
Was that the only one?
That's my understanding. Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing is, I guess there's some question about the Siberian elms on the east side of the property.
I noticed that they're still up.
Yeah.
Or a couple of them. Are they on our property or?
That's the
Is that
question.
okay, the fence goes right
I
through
think
some of
there's
those.
some talk between the Forest Service and the town about what's gonna happen. Obviously, any of the ones growing in the fence that they actually have grown into the fence should be removed. There's still one other tree that isn't grown into the fence that possibly removed, but nobody knows at this point what the discussion between the town and the Forest Service is, and is it considered town or Forest Service?
I'll just add my 2 cents there and sort of my concern from months ago before I was on the board and even more so now. And I mentioned this at the board meeting, my disappointment that in 4 years of knowing that this property is going to be developed and this property was going to be developed, and the fact that one of the primary reasons given for keeping it at Sopris Park, despite community wishes, was the proximity of the park and the access to the park, and that somehow we didn't manage to maintain any sort of passage from Main Street to the park with an amazing opportunity to have a walk, a nature walkway right from the Main Street to the park right through there. And as of now, it may just remain, hopefully, I think our best option is that it remains, that the Forest Service at least keeps a gap in a fence so that we can walk through like we used to, but a missed opportunity among many, in my belief. And I think the board would, a great opportunity to have trees of some sort of size and an access from Main Street. As it stands, there will be in that whole length of the block. As of now, there's not a single front door to a building. And no access to the park. So unless, I guess maybe through the back of the parking lot, if they can agree to keep fences open.
Entrance to the Forest Service building is around.
It's on Went. There was some talk about changing it. Nothing that I have seen thus far indicates that it faces Main Street, and we'll see. I mean, ideally that would be, it was.
Build that wall, baby.
Yeah, what's that? Yeah.
Build that wall.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see too. I mean, I know folks here had some questions about the big trees and the ice and snow situation that creates. But now we've just built that building that much closer to the sidewalk. And I don't think that, I mean, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big
We
question.
paid. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of,
Well, it
you know.
obviously was designed to be vehicle centric.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't,
Be able to walk
yeah.
through the park. by
Parking
walking
lot,
down
yeah.
that way and then back.
But I just could have imagined a really lovely entry from Main Street to the park there. That would have really been a lovely new addition to the park to maybe make up for some of some of the grass and park that we've lost as a result of the increased footprint of the pool. But moving on.
all right. Go ahead there.
Okay, so anything else on the aquatic center tree removal
I think
discussion?
we're in pretty
Okay.
good shape.
Okay, we'll move on to our draft letter to the Sopris Sun for asking for tree inventory volunteers.
Right, so I viewed this letter as getting it to Sopris Sun, being in the town newsletter, on the town website, and going to the schools. And that's kind of a follow-up on the schools to the petition that we got for more trees in Sopris
Oh.
Park, to kind of go back to the middle school kids and say, hey, look, you want to participate in something, and so that's great. And another thing, so I just put down that volunteers are needed for updating the Carbondale tree inventory. The Carbondale Tree Board and the Department of Public Works is looking for, I just pulled a rabbit out of the hat and said 20 volunteers to help in updating the Carbondale 2010 tree inventory. The inventory includes trees in the public right-of-way, 19 parks, and other public spaces. Volunteers will be trained by the town arborists and staff in updating and documenting over 3,000 trees that enhance our town's environment. Terrific opportunity to learn about the trees in Carbondale and contribute to maintaining our treescape. With volunteer help, updated inventory can be completed by the Town Arbor Day celebration in 2025. So I
Say
think,
June 2025, we need to make it May.
well, wherever,
Yep.
May or June. Because that's moved sometimes when there's other things. Then I just put, please contact Carl at the website or at the email site or phone number. I also put in there that the Carbondale Tree Board is looking 4 to 5 people to apply for positions on the advisory tree board that was established in 1994 and has helped in, I put adding, but we could say adding, planting
Let's
Oh.
say planting.
over 600 trees in our town treescape. Applications to be found online or at town hall. Help Carbondale continue to celebrate trees.
Does it help, Carl, if we give a little identification? I'm just thinking about him getting lots of emails or calls. Does it help if we say volunteers should be comfortable with?
No, he's all happy. He's all happy to get these.
It doesn't
emails.
matter.
No.
He'll try, okay.
Yeah, I asked him and he said, sure. Just
Okay.
send him an email to me. The phone calls are more of a problem for him than the emails.
Okay.
I think emails are better just to have it documented and just, I think it's a good
Right.
reminder, just to who sent who.
Yeah, take
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Well, he gives both numbers.
He,
So if we
he,
have-
It's just a
he
matter
does,
of having to respond that way.
Well,
Takes all the time.
but if you called Carl?
I've tried to call Carl, yes, and Marion said.
And then what,
Successful in doing.
and it says that his mailbox is full.
Mhm.
So,
So if just.
Want people
so
to
I'll-
be successful, you know.
I think the preferred probably method is
Well, I'll just put
email,
preferred.
just so he knows who is sending it and there's a timestamp on it and he can get back to
Okay.
it.
So
to his
Alan,
convenience.
if he is receiving emails from, let's just say that there's someone who's like 8 or 9 years old,
Mhm.
that's a lot, that's a potential amount of supervision for that. So
Mhm.
would we ask then for a younger volunteer to have a parental or even a sibling
Teacher.
supervision?
If we're going to the school, I'll find out, I'll take this to the schools
Mhm.
and find the teacher that would
Would
supervise
as
contact.
they,
Yeah,
as they are, I mean, there's a
Yeah.
little bit of like, yes, go do it on your
Right.
own, but there has
Right.
to be a supervision. You know, then maybe a group and, okay, we're all gonna do this for 15 minutes and then come back.
who knows? We may
Well,
get,
I'm just remembering the days when I was in 4-H and 8 or 9 years old, and we always had to come back to the adults.
Mhm.
So
Right.
I'm kind of thinking that if this does go out to children. do we
it's
need
not
to-
going to them, it's going to the teachers.
Okay, then, okay, so
Yeah.
the teachers then would supervise. Okay,
Yes,
gotcha.
yeah, I think parental supervision is be needed.
Yeah, I think so
Just
too.
especially too with some of the trees being in right of way areas and
And just,
yeah,
yeah.
and just
kind of
traffic in
being
more
safe,
busier
yeah,
areas.
okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so that's a little gonna be. a
Yeah,
little-
because Ally brings up the point. We'll be wearing vests,
Yes.
we'll be wearing
Safety.
safety
Mhm.
vests, this,
Mhm.
that, the other thing.
Yes,
when
yeah.
We do all
I
this stuff.
think we want them to be safe.
Yeah, I think too, Carl and I have mentioned just throwing ideas out there, but I think we'd have kids mostly work in parks just to reduce
Right.
those risks.
I think so too.
And I think too, they can also build a connection with that place as well. And they've recreated there, I hope, and or just get to know the park better.
I think
Cool.
it's, yeah, I think it's gonna be fun.
I think the kid element of it is really promising.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
and teachers, I think, are looking, I mean, maybe it wouldn't have to necessarily be parks if they went out with their teacher during the school day. I mean, if I were a school teacher, that'd be an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, just, yeah, let's come out of the
You know.
classroom. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and it's,
So if you have
it's in the high school too.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
middle school and the high school.
Yeah.
And the high school could be part of a science
Yeah,
class.
yeah.
The way that it appeared when we went through the inventory setup last time in July, you'd be best having at least 2 people on every tree.
Oh, absolutely.
One to record,
Yeah,
one to be telling you what you needed to do, one to be able to look around and then have a corroboration. So 2 or 3 people going out. And we also were talking more about by unit to do this and then do this and then do this instead of all over town.
Ally, when we did that tree planting, one of the things that the takeaway was, some of these really educational components should be recorded because they're really good. And they can be something that, I don't know if we can add content to the town website, but certainly content, at least have it available. So even if teachers needed to use that as a way of preparing their children, they've got something to look at, whether it's a YouTube channel or something like that.
Yeah, I think that would be great. I know currently for all of the town inventory, we use a website called Colorado Tree View. If you go on the internet and type in Tree View, that is accessible to everyone. And there is links under the tree board section on the town of Carbondale website that has kind of a walkthrough of how you get to that website and how you can access the town of Carbondale data. Granted, it's not up to date, which we're working on, but we do have that, which is nice. And 2, you can also see other towns if people are just interested in exploring, and that's, I think, a general program that Colorado has.
Very nice.
Okay.
In July, we were encouraging Carl to explore the upgrade on that particular program. So you could have more information, because how old are the photos for that tree view? Things have changed.
Yeah, I don't know about the photos necessarily. I think the photos, like the back layer essentially of Coach Review gets updated more than our data points, but it seems pretty recent. I've been out recently just doing tree inventory, kind of just getting started on it. And it's been pretty accurate to my knowledge.
Thanks.
Just not to, well, I would just want to follow up with the kid thing that, that the high school requires a capstone project for all their kids. And this seems like and I never want to create more trouble for you guys, but it get the right person and you might end up with a kid who's doing a lot of good work and gets a lot out of it. Or a couple of them. I don't know exactly how that project works, but something to address directly. It's called a capstone project. So
Sure.
I'll just put that out there. But yeah, I think the biology teacher element could be a good angle.
Well, in the next 2 weeks, I'll go to the schools and start talking
That's
to
right,
them.
because school.
It's
starting
today.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So long summer.
Yeah, yeah, oh my gosh. Back to school.
there you go, Kay.
That'll be really fun. Well,
All right,
let us know, Dan,
I'll keep you updated.
you're gonna do middle school and high school?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let us know if you need some assistance.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, that's great discussion, excitement too. We're gonna move on to item number 4.4, which is 522 Highway 133 Combined Land Use Application Tree Board Review. So we have here the I guess a diagram of this, and then the actual form would be a PDF that we would review online. We don't have that in front of us, of course, but who of us is going to speak to this? I see you're doing an awful lot of diagramming on that. Do you want to speak to this?
Yeah, my first question was on the first form that Kay had emailed to us. I didn't see any landscaping or anything, so, but then I walked in the door and go, voila, here it is. So we know where this is. This is that little triangle piece of land where the buildings, where the vacuum repair guy was,
Oh,
and,
yes.
next, just north of La Fontana Plaza.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
and this end of it right here butts up to La Fontana Plaza and that. And so then, as you're sitting and looking at it, on your right-hand side, that gray mark, that's the Rio Grande Trail, which RAFTA controls that. And you can see this line that says solid with 2 dots and then solid 2 dots and solid 2 dots. That's their right of way. Because they have 50 feet from the center
They
of
mean RAFTA.
RAFTA.
Okay.
From the center of that path, they have 50 feet on each side
Wow.
of that right of way. And that, so you can see that some of this, they're not building in the right of way and that. One of the things they read in there, they're requesting that all the Siberian elms be removed from the property, and they're also requesting, they're trying to get an agreement with RAFTA to remove Siberian elms from the RAFTA right of way too, which is great. They really are, they're not planting many trees, but they have a group of 3 trees right in the middle of the building there that they're calling them screening evergreen trees. Those don't really create that much of a problem. The ones at the far end though of that property, they have 3 evergreen trees there for screening. And I would object to those because for 2 reasons. One is they're planted too close together. From looking at this drawing, those trees should be at least 30 to 30 feet, 25 to 35 feet apart
They're only 8 feet tall.
at this point.
No, that's what they're saying that they're going to be. Height is 8 feet. You think that's for planting? It's a juniper. It's not going to get that tall. Utah juniper.
They're calling it, yeah, the Utah juniper.
Well, there's a possibility, but I would be, yeah.
So they're thinking of a kind of a clump look, not a.
Yeah, and I understand that and that, but I would have some problems with
Kind of
that.
makes you wonder a little bit about what kind of aesthetic they're going for with that, but,
Right.
you know.
You know, and the rest of the stuff, you know, I highlighted on here that they're planting a lot of shrubs, you know, rabbit brush and some broom and some forsythia and stuff like that, which is fine. I know I did see that they're required to remove that planting island that's in front of that building now. And there's some questions about to maintain the irrigation that's there along the road and stuff like that. So that's all great stuff. I have some real questions about those bushes. You know, if they're bushes, plant bushes, you know. I would have to go back and look at a Utah juniper and see what actually the size of that tree would be. Because if they did get to be a larger size tree, they have the potential to shade the Rio Grande Trail and cause ice problems.
Well,
Where is
From
the
the-
town right of way? Where's the town right of way versus RAFTA right of way versus
Right,
CDOT right of way that we maintain, but it's CDOT right of way because that's on the highway? Do we know the answer to that? Do
Well,
we
it's-
really weigh in on it?
it's 15 feet from the, is it 15 feet from the edge of the highway?
Then that becomes us? Okay. Oh, another way to get killed over here. Great.
Yeah, I mean, this is, obviously, this ties in with a lot of our other questions with accessibility and stuff. But since we're looking at
It's,
some of these. Some of the trees and you know, it's, you know, I would just point out that may not be a great spot.
Are they looking at, it looks like 1, 2, 3 shade trees?
The three largest circles on the left, are those,
Yeah.
those are not currently there, correct? That's a planting
No.
plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
pretty bad
So
there.
they're looking at maybe a 20-foot, 30-foot.
So this is going to, does this egress here, which is down to 1, is that directly across from Dolores Way? Do we know that?
No, it's not directly across.
Well, there's actually.
To the north?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm actually seeing 3, right? There's one at the bottom.
about vehicle access.
Okay. Anyway, I do see, it looks like 3 large shade trees right there.
There's a Princeton.
Yeah.
Princeton elm.
yeah, they haven't really indicated what it's gonna be.
Hawthorn on here. So AB's is a fir, hawthorn, juniper, golden rain tree, mid-sized tree.
So the
Yeah,
three
American
large
elm.
trees, we should be looking at what,
American elms.
Yeah.
35 to 40 feet
That's kind of what I was wondering.
between trees.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that right? Is that where, I don't have that I don't have
I'm
that.
not sure we're seeing that on this diagram.
No, that's
but-
25 feet here, probably, if you look at the scale on the bottom right.
20 inches.
If that like half-inch thing is, yeah, you're probably 30 feet between those trees.
You think so?
Yeah.
What are they putting underneath them, I wonder?
Shrubs and turf. They have a native, calling it a pinyon juniper meadow mix.
Just doing quickly with using their scale.
It's just under 20, it's like 28 or so.
Yeah, they got 28. They don't have enough room between those trees.
I didn't think so. It doesn't look like it, but
And don't forget, we're looking at 50 years from now. But, you know, we don't want to have that problem in 50 years.
Well, see what the maturity is on that tree.
I want to, just a little bit of an aside, out on the road to Sunlight, there is a golden rain tree that is all by its lonesome along the side of the road. And about a month ago, you know, while it was in bloom, it was incredible, just really, really beautiful. But it's just all by itself along the side of the road.
60 to 80 feet. We'll never see 80 feet tall,
No,
base shaped.
what about,
Yeah, I'm wondering why they would want to put such large trees in anyway.
well,
Why do they
why
want,
width, what's width?
why do they want to
It
do
can grow
shade
to be
trees?
50 to 70 feet tall and 30 to 50 feet wide, so you're okay on that. Thank you.
Well, they're
I know we
20,
got more than
there's
that.
only 20 feet between those trees.
Mhm.
You take the half,
It was 28.
half and half.
15, 15, so
But
30, the tree's 30, so half of that diameter.
15.
is
So
15.
they need to add some space.
Well, it's curious why would, you know, the use of shade trees. What's their,
The
Because
benefit
they're
of
not
this
outdoor
tree
dining.
is it tolerates road
But-
salts.
it's,
They will have outdoor dining,
oh, okay.
so that's the point of the
They
shade
want to,
trees.
they want to be under the shade, okay, alongside the highway outdoor dining.
I would
Okay.
just, I would put a question on the spacing of the trees. I think
Okay.
they need to be farther apart.
I saw too I was just looking on Town and Carbondale website today and I forget what section, I believe it's under the planning. They have almost like a visual of what kind of we're seeing here, but that, talking about that outdoor dining, they have like a visual of the outdoor dining, like going kind of north.
A rendering.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So this was a helpful visual.
Yeah, thank you.
I also questioned the golden rain. I think in some places, golden rain trees are verboten.
Well,
I looked that up because I was so
there's golden
curious about
rain and
this
golden
one.
chain.
But I couldn't find that when I went to the CSU website on that. But
Here.
I wondered about that.
I got it right here.
Oh, okay, good,
Criteria
yeah.
was allowed in-
I have, let's see if I can find it quickly. What's it under, Joanne? Golden rain,
You mean, the.
what's it considered?
dining room?
I'll be looking it up. It's also Chinese lantern tree, flowering
Yes.
plants. It's in the soapwort family.
Mhm.
Which one is it, paniculata?
Syringa,
Syringa is lilac.
Chinese. Oh, wait, that's the other one, okay.
Paniculata.
Oh, there it is. It's, oh, I can't say it. Yeah, I can't. Oh,
Well, I don't think that it's that much of an issue given where it is. It says, people also ask, is golden rain tree invasive? In a region where it's invasive, Coleridge paniculata can be found in disturbed habitats along streams and roadsides and in open woodlands. It's able to outcompete native plants for resources, and its dense growth can prevent sunlight from reaching other plants. Well, you have to just weed down there. It's perfect for urban planting, makes a nice patio tree, creates light shade. Its brittle wood can break easily in windy weather, so there can be some mess. Has only a few branches when it's young. So what size are we getting?
Well-
2.5?
yeah, we might, I mean, if they want that kind of.
Toxic to dogs.
Yeah, so the lilac tree or the tree lilac, that variety is actually really gorgeous for a kind of arbor-like setting versus a shade tree for outdoor dining. A little more, if that's what they're thinking of, that's
Okay.
the look that they want.
Golden rain tree provides year-round interest. In late spring or summer, it produces large flower panicles rising upwards from the branches. They consist of many individual yellow fragrant flowers. Their plentiful nectar attracts honeybees to the tree. You know, I used to say,
So this is the Front Range tree recommendation list from that Cammie Long was part of the group that put this list together. They do have the golden rain. It is a recommended tree for the Front Range. The cautionary thing is that it has weak wood and it reseeds aggressively. So are we putting another Siberian elm in town?
Yeah.
Would be my question.
Would we, so in terms of the purpose that they're looking for with this, they're looking for the outdoor dining experience. Do we want to make recommendations to them?
For the aesthetic, no.
Okay.
What I think we should be looking at, we should gonna say, this tree could become a problem tree for Carbondale.
Okay, because we don't see a lot of them around here.
No, you don't, but if it recedes aggressively, it's much like
Well,
we've talked about with the Siberian elms.
Use the one example that out of the blue, there's one on 4 Mile out towards Sunlight, and it's a lone tree, it's a solo, there's nothing around it. So that's why it was so spectacular when it was
Right.
blooming.
I think it's useful to experiment with it. It's very bordered, not like it's going to get anywhere. You can get killed like the rest of us on 133. It's bordered by the bike path, which hopefully soon will have a train on it. And it's bringing one more thing in. If you do your maintenance on it, it should be a benefit. It's slow growing. It tolerates road salt. That's very beneficial in that environment.
They haven't
It's
really
moderate.
indicated what trees they're planting there, are they? Have they?
Yeah, here's your plant list right here.
Oh, the elms is what they're planting there.
I vote to try it.
Well, the golden rain's in the back.
Really?
It's in the back next to the Rio Grande Trail.
Oh,
Still, they use some things back there. So the other thing I'm looking at on here is that they're saying drip irrigation, and I'd like to see that be bubblers on there. We haven't codified that, but I think every little bit will help so that we can see evidence of irrigation. I just went behind the grocery store. What a travesty.
A lack of irrigation.
Let me go look at them. It's horrible.
But is it?
I have no idea what it is. It's been so long, but they're just like, here's all the suckers. That tree.
do we,
And
Hold on,
On-
let's look
oh,
at
okay.
let's look at the elms.
okay.
another interesting thing is I'm not seeing their Black Beauty fescue on here. They've got a sod and then they've got a mix. And I don't know where it is. I don't know if it just didn't come out right, but they're
Yep.
saying a half acre.
So they have indicated that Princeton elm on their tree list.
Yeah, that's
That's,
this.
the state is doing that as a cautionary recommendation, a conditional recommendation. Mainly because it's real susceptible to scale. And we have had a scale problem with elm trees in Sopris Park. The two that are recommended are the David, and these all go, they got some trade names.
Liberty.
David, Greenstone, and Choice City, and Accolade.
They
And
don't have Liberty on there?
nope,
They've got this growing in Aspen and they're seeding around.
but
Berry Park.
but we've planted Accolade elms in Sopris Park on the east side of Sopris Park. We planted 2 of them. One of them we dedicated to, the tree board paid for that tree, and we dedicated it to Stacy Patch for her service as our mayor. And it's doing fantastically. So I would kind of say that I think maybe they need to consider taking the Princeton elm, replacing it with another elm.
Would we want that to go, we want that to go on our minutes and go back to, this is gonna go back to Carl?
No, it goes to our friend
That's in our right away.
Ellie Peterson.
Okay. So how,
Actually, we'll go to
Huh?
Probably go to Jared.
Jared?
Jerry? Yeah, it says here our contact,
I
staff
know.
contact.
I-
Yeah,
I-
but
I
yeah,
know.
okay, I got you.
I am part of the planning department, so I'm well aware of it.
But I would say they need to consider a different type of elm.
Okay.
And if they want, and I'll be happy to give them this front range tree recommendation list that was put together by, here's the committee
And
members.
that's, Dan, that's gonna be those 3 trees that we see along.
All along 133.
It's a high maintenance tree.
The accolade?
Yes,
As
the
such-
Princeton.
Okay. well,
High
we'll-
maintenance tree that will require regular care and upkeep and is best pruned in late winter. Once the threat of extreme cold is past, well, good luck.
It has high water needs and also
That's interesting because they don't have.
it also, insects and diseases are a real problem with that
So
Princeton elm.
using this particular guide, we're going to recommend the accolade elm or something similar.
The
using that guide.
accolade or the
Okay.
greenstone.
Okay.
Well, you know, they're calling it a medium water requirement tree in here too.
Do we have other?
Yes, I'm wrong. Yes, you're right.
New England
Joanne.
esters.
It has L to M.
Are we, with regards to that rain tree, we had discussion on that. Are we going to have any further recommendation on that? Or we want to see what it looks like when they?
I'm in favor of Colrateria.
Yeah, it's gonna be more of a problem for RAFTA than for the town.
Okay, well,
They could put it on the other side.
It
and
is
put-
on the RAFTA side.
I know, but they could switch them too. But I think
I-
they want that
I know
mature
I've
presence.
heard it said 2 or 3 times, but this one along the side of the road, 4 mile out to sunlight,
Gorgeous.
is not a run, it's around rocks and pinyons and it's, I had to stop and take a photo of it because I was just so
Uh-huh.
surprised. I was like, what is this tree doing out in the middle of nowhere here?
Well, you know, this area floods extremely. When we have those big gully washers, like you can
That
walk
could
in
make a
water up
difference for this
past
tree.
your ankles easily
And
in
that,
there.
and that area over there, they will have to do some, I mean, that does get very, very muddy over there.
Yeah, they've got permeable pavers in their parking area here,
So there's, I think.
kind of swale-y.
Would it be fair to say we're gonna give a little caution on the rain tree or,
I say try it,
right, okay,
my opinion.
you okay with that, Dan?
With the caveat that it seeds profusely and it could become a problem.
Okay,
It's called raking.
they may have
You
to
could,
have some.
you could rake it, you could tarp it, you could do a variety of things. We're saving the elm trees.
So
I
a
think they're
lot,
bigger panicles.
anything else on this particular plan that we want to?
Just a little.
I'm wondering where the fescue sod is, because I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, they're making
It's all dry
references
land.
to a lot of native grasses, but again, we don't really know what. That's kind of a catch-all phrase.
Well, is it an error of omission on the plan because it's in the,
They're calling this tall fescue mix here
Oh, in the middle.
in the main area, even though it's.
okay, so then it must have been blacked out on their
Okay,
deal. Okay, thank you.
as long as that's sort of that.
Yeah, the egress is going to be a major issue here, but that does not concern us.
what kind of grass?
Egress, in and out of
Egress,
here.
In and out of,
Egress.
it's gonna be,
In and out of
it's a right turn only.
Yes, no, I'm just looking at that. And then now we've got a new walkway or median or something going on now in the middle.
I
of the
had to
road.
wait for over 7 vehicles to go by there
Mhm.
with the light flashing one day.
Yeah, it's not,
And one of them was a Garfield County vehicle with a Garfield County employee driving the vehicle disregarding the flashing light. But it is Carbondale purple.
It really does have, this plan does have an appeal.
Parking
Do we
here.
agree on that?
The what?
It has an appeal.
Oh,
It
yeah,
does,
yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about using evergreens as screening and not planted far enough apart. And the same
But
with, same with the trees on the, they're okay. I mean, it's, you know, what are they gonna be, you know?
You're specifically mentioning that the Utah junipers.
Yep.
Okay.
And the idea that we use landscaping for screening,
Yeah.
I don't like that idea at all.
I would see it a lot.
Well, this brings up an interesting point for later, but it is not necessarily screening, but it's blocking people from cutting through here. They're allowing pathways in through these different spots to get here. There's this one. And by putting these here, they're going to finish the corner. It's not like there's a road in there that there's going to be an ice issue in the winter time. And, you know, trees planted in a group like that have a better defense than lined out. It's kind of far back. 10 feet back.
Then, yeah, you know, as a screening thing, I mean, this plan that we got in our packet originally, but also that's where, don't forget, those two trails come together at that spot, and it's a little sketchy how they come together.
Well, that's what I'm saying though, is this will prevent people from cutting through there.
But it
And
also blocked the view of
That's
people
pretty
coming
far
down the
down there.
133 path and coming down the Rio Grande path. And it's, right now, there isn't really a block of the view there. And that,
I think you're good there. I ride that every day almost.
you know, just a
at it again.
consideration. But so, I mean, if we want to sum it up, I have three things. I have concerns about the elm trees that they're picking for that they've indicated. I do not, according to the new recommendation list for front range trees, this is not a desirable tree. There are two elms that would be more desirable. I'd be happy to share this list with them. The golden rain tree, fine. And that and then the Utah junipers for screening purposes and stuff, I'm a little on that. So,
You know, the other thing that they've got on here though, that I think is more questionable is in the parking side. It looks like they've got some trees in here,
yeah,
one on either side, and I'd think twice about putting a tree there. What are they? They're the Peking lilacs, but talk about not being able to see. Those trees are fairly low. When you look at those lilacs,
mhm.
their canopy is like this. Your pickup is here,
Yeah.
your tiny bicycle.
Mhm.
Those.
So I would think twice about
These are
putting
the-
a tree in
Are
there
you
for
looking-
view.
Right here on either,
On either side.
yeah,
of the
right,
Parking.
yeah, right here by the parking lot there.
Oh, okay. We're getting close to 7 here.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess with Joanne's comments on that, so my comments would be the elm trees, we would like to see a different species.
Hey, like you could put this tree farther over here without too much problem, but people are going to be coming out here. People are going to be moving in here. It's one way in, one way out. I don't think you'll be able to turn. I think that's what the idea is with what's going on 133. And I think that could be a problem because those trees are thick. You're not gonna be able to see through them.
So we're gonna,
Just real quick, let's go down it again. So we'd like to see a different species of elm tree, but we see that that particular species is problematic in any area. We're concerned about the two trees on either side of the parking lot or the driveway, the exit, blocking view of pedestrians and especially pedestrians on the trail there. The golden rain tree, okay. The other, what's that other tree that they've got with that little funny, they're some other crab apples, thornless cockspur hawthorns on the back, that's fine. And then I have a concern about the trees, the Utah junipers. Happy to share the Front Range things. I can make copies of this and make sure that I get them to Kay so that you could pass these on. It has some good descriptions of this. It's done by a great group of people. I mean, this is.
Give it to Carl because he's gonna be the one that's going to intercede in this.
Okay,
I can take that and give that to Carl along with other notes.
okay.
So one thing I do just want to add is, Carl just had a brief report he just wanted to share, and he gave it to me just to share with y'all. Basically just a summary of kind of what has happened, since I think the last tree board meeting, if that's okay.
Yeah, but that's fine, but we can just close this out.
Okay, okay,
we'll
yeah.
Do that.
Of course.
So any further comment then on this plan, on the review of this? We got it? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let's move on. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Just some notes that Carl left me just to share with you all. So he has a section called tree work completed. Essentially did some tree pruning in Sopris Park as well as Miners Park, that I was there to help out with. Sopris Park was more so just for Mountain Fair and in general, making sure those trees are nice and cleaned up, removing just dead wood and such. And we began to clear the rec path behind the Orchard Church. That's kind of near the church that goes out exiting towards North Face Park. So we've just been working on that, almost finished with it. I would say we're probably like halfway done. We've also been installing mulch rings on various small to medium-sized trees around town, just to promote better health and avoid weed whacker damage. And then Carl also has some contracted tree work to be complete. There's a big poplar tree in front of the smithy that is supposed to be pruned for dead wood. I believe that's supposed to happen around late September time. And we also have a Siberian elm removal and pruning adjacent to 226 Garfield Ave, which should take place on Monday. And then we'll have removal of cottonwood trees close to the power lines on the corner of 11th and 12th in Colorado. That date is still TBD, to be determined. And then Carl also has a request for quotes for fall tree work in the works. He also has a section tree risk assessment. He said Chris Foreman from Save a Tree will be doing an assessment on the big cottonwood at Sopris Park sometime in a few weeks. And then for the tree planting section, there's a budget request for tree planting of 30 trees as a replacement in parks and right-of-way areas next spring, totaling around $10,000. For tree inventory updates, which I've mostly just been working on and just mostly informing Carl about. Thank you, Dan. I'm guessing you all are familiar with how the units are divided up around town, familiar with that map. I've completed almost one unit, and then I've been working on unit 2, which is almost done as well. And that's the northeast side of town. RAFTA is separating that section, the bike path. So right before town hall, all that area is almost complete. Been recording data on sheets to be entered into software this winter. So we'll be working on that, viewing just what we've documented and inputting. And I think maybe doing a site visit on some of them if there seem to be any hazards we need to mitigate or nothing of concern. Carl also put in a budget request for upgrading the tree plotter subscription, which is 3,500 a year. It will allow us to archive old tree data, track inspected data, track tree work, and create maps linked for EAB and memorial trees. And then finally, he mentioned some tree protection. For tree protection compliance, this is mostly pertaining to the pool area project. Tree protection compliance was not being observed at the pool project as requested. Carl, town arborist, spoke with the crew members on the site. He also installed protection after further non-compliance was observed in those areas. And that is it.
Thank you.
And then we've got new plans to take care of that in the future.
Yes, we do.
Right.
Thank you for watering our flower pots downtown, Ally.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're at our adjournment point. Anything else that has to be brought up at this time? Nope.
Does anybody know if there's a date that they're going to start formalizing Chacos Park
No.
information?
We have new, sort
of a
new plan that's being presented apparently tomorrow or next Tuesday at our work session.
Okay, I urge you to pay strict attention to acoustics.
So then I'd like to go ahead and call for adjournment, a motion for adjournment.
I motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that emotion.
There we go. Thank you very much.
I'll get you a copy. I'll get you a couple copies. This is really a terrific list.
Or is it